Why aliens won't invade Earth. The cosmic truth behind the sci-fi shenanigans. Hey there, space cadets, and welcome to Cosmic Enigma. Ever since we first squinted at the stars, a burning question has kept us up at night. Are we alone out here? And if not, what happens when the cosmic doorbell rings? Well, Hollywood, bless its dramatic heart, has given us a pretty clear, albeit terrifying, answer. They're coming. And spoiler alert, they're definitely not bringing a casserole. From H.G. Wells' classic War of the Worlds to modern popcorn munchers, the image of hostile, planet-conquering aliens is practically etched into our collective DNA. It's thrilling, it's chilling, and it perfectly feeds our primal fear of the unknown. But here's the cosmic kicker. This widespread belief that ET is inherently evil, or that any super-advanced civilization would immediately want to turn Earth into their personal parking lot, is mostly just a product of our own wild imaginations and a whole lot of movie nights. All those sensationalized alien invasion flicks make it tough to picture anything else, right? Despite zero scientific proof of any alien life, let alone the kind that wants to zap us, the idea of little green or gray or slimy invaders sticks like superglue. So today we're going to boldly go where few blockbusters dare, beyond the screams and laser beams, into the glorious realm of logic and scientific possibility, to explore why the whole alien invasion for conquest thing is, frankly, a bit of a cosmic joke. We're going to put on our critical thinking hats and analyze this popular myth, just like scientists dissect a really juicy meteorite. Our mission? To spark wonder about the cosmos, not fear, by playfully challenging those common assumptions and diving into what science and good old common sense really suggest about our potential extraterrestrial neighbors. So if Hollywood's got it all wrong, what does pure unadulterated logic tell us? Let's fire up our cosmic brain cells and ponder the sheer ridiculousness of an interstellar invasion. Often the big screen tells us aliens want our precious Earth resources. But hold your horses, because this premise falls apart faster than a cheap spaceship model under scientific scrutiny. The energy and sheer effort needed for interstellar travel are so mind-boggling it makes your head spin. As Dr. Steve Desch, an astrophysics professor, wisely puts it, it's a completely silly premise once you realize the amount of technology and the magnitude of effort it would take to cross light years of space to fight a war like that. Get this. Just lifting one of those city-sized destroyer spaceships into Earth orbit would gobble up more energy than all of human civilization produces in an entire year. Seriously, what could Earth possibly offer that's worth that kind of gas money? Experts are scratching their heads too, asking, why would a technologically superior alien species, with literally a whole universe of resources to pick from, choose to visit an inhabited, life-rich planet with a species still figuring out how to not trip over its own feet? Basic stuff like water, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, and various metals, they're practically littering the cosmos. Trying to steal Earth's water would be like a modern industrial nation launching a full-scale military campaign just to swipe some ice cubes from their neighbor's freezer, while completely ignoring the massive ice sheets of Antarctica. The energy bill alone makes it laughably absurd. Super advanced alien civilizations would find these resources way easier and more efficiently on uninhabited planets, asteroids, or comets. Less gravity, no pesky inhabitants to deal with. It's a no-brainer. Plus, if they're interstellar travelers, they probably don't even need planets. They're likely building their own custom-made optimal living spaces, like those fancy Stanford Tauruses or O'Neill cylinders, way easier to get in and out of than a planet's deep gravity well, trust us. This whole idea flips the script. The variabilities that let them travel the stars and potentially invade also mean they've probably already mastered resource management and cosmic self-sufficiency. So conquering a planet for basic stuff? Totally redundant and inefficient. If advanced aliens did swing by Earth, they wouldn't be after our dirt or our water. Nope. Earth's real treasures would be our wild biodiversity, our quirky ecosystems, and the utterly fascinating phenomenon of human consciousness and culture. It's a shift from wanting our stuff to being curious about us. Honestly, thinking aliens would invade for resources is just us projecting our own historical bad habits, like colonization and resource wars, onto beings who are probably light years beyond our petty squabbles. It's a classic human bias, imagining aliens as just bigger, badder versions of ourselves. And speaking of bad habits, let's talk about interstellar warfare. Beyond the resource nonsense, the very act of fighting a war across star systems is incredibly inefficient for a truly advanced civilization. Dr. Steve Desch doubles down, saying, "It's a completely silly premise once you realize the amount of technology and the magnitude of effort it would take to cross light years of space to fight a war like that. The sheer scale of it makes traditional warfare look like a toddler's tantrum." Think about the logistical nightmare of sending in spaceships for a war of conquest. If they just wanted to wipe us out and take our planet, there's a much simpler, more efficient, and less dramatic way. Aliens aiming for total annihilation would just crash an asteroid into every major city at once. Or, if they're patient enough to wait a millennium for the planet to recover, they'd just send in a giant asteroid like the one that killed the dinosaurs. See? No need for flashy laser battles or awkward ground invasions. Plus, the tech gap between us and an interstellar civilization would be, well, galactic. The Milky Way is over 12 billion years old, folks. An alien civilization could easily have a 100,000-year head start. And get this, at our current rate of economic growth, human civilization could be literally 10 million times more powerful than it is today, in just 1,000 years. Imagine that kind of disparity. Any war would be absurdly one-sided and totally unnecessary for conquest. And the idea of aliens invading to enslave humanity? Even more ridiculous. A civilization capable of interstellar travel would undoubtedly have superior automation and artificial intelligence. Why bother with a squishy, inefficient slave race? That's us, when you've got robots that can do everything better, faster, and without complaining. So if invasion is off the table, where in the cosmos are they? This brings us to one of astronomy's biggest head-scratchers, the Fermi Paradox. Named after physicist Enrico Fermi, it asks a fundamental question. The universe is unbelievably vast, ancient, and theoretically packed with potentially habitable planets. So if intelligent life is common, why haven't we found any conclusive evidence of it? If even a tiny fraction of these planets develop life, and a fraction of those develop intelligence and technology, the galaxy should be buzzing with signals, megastructures, or even interstellar visitors. But so far, we've found nothing. This discrepancy between the lack of conclusive evidence of advanced extraterrestrial life and the apparently high likelihood of its existence is famously known as the Great Silence. It's a bit unsettling, sure, but it also opens the door to a whole universe of fascinating, non-hostile explanations. The Great Silence has sparked countless theories, many of which offer perfectly peaceful reasons for why we haven't heard from our cosmic neighbors. These solutions paint a broad picture, from benign indifference to inherent cosmic speed bumps, or even conscious, evolved choices for sustainability and internal development. The zoo hypothesis, for instance, suggests that super advanced aliens know we're here but choose not to mess with our independent cultural and biological development, kind of like how we observe animals in a nature reserve. It's a peaceful, non-hostile explanation, basically a cosmic prime directive of non-interference. Then there's the Great Filter theory, which posits that there's a nearly insurmountable barrier that prevents civilizations from reaching interstellar capabilities. This filter could be in our past, like the very emergence of life or intelligence, or more ominously, lurking in our future. Think self-destruction via nuclear war, climate catastrophe, or other existential oopsies. This theory suggests aliens might not be hostile, they just didn't make it past a critical hurdle. The self-destructive phase aspect of the Great Filter is a powerful mirror, linking humanity's own pressing global threats to this abstract cosmic concept. It subtly hints that our current challenges might be the very thing stopping us from becoming an interstellar civilization, or that countless others have already fallen victim to similar fates. It's a humbling thought, shifting our focus from external threats to our own internal responsibilities. Perhaps advanced societies are just self-limiting civilizations. They might become so technologically sophisticated that they lose interest in physically expanding across the galaxy, opting instead for inward development, focusing on virtual realities, or achieving a sustainable, chill equilibrium within their own star system. This suggests a peaceful, internally focused evolution. As one wise observer noted, the absence of obvious grabby civilizations consuming resources across the galaxy might not indicate their absence. It might indicate their wisdom. Now that's a profound thought, suggesting that true advancement might mean prioritizing sustainable existence over aggressive expansion. And let's not forget communication barriers. It might be incredibly tough to understand alien thought processes, biology, or even how they say hello. Their very existence might be too incomprehensible for our little human brains to even recognize as life or intelligence. Maybe we're just not listening on the right cosmic radio station, or for long enough. Lastly, they might simply be too far away or too rare. Even with the Kepler satellite spotting billions of Earth-like planets, intelligent life could still be incredibly rare, or just too far for signals to reach us or for them to travel within our cosmic blink of an eye. Humanity has only been scanning the skies for a few decades, a mere cosmic eye blink, while some theories, like the dark forest theory, suggest intelligent species stay silent to avoid detection by potentially hostile others. It's highly unlikely every single one would adopt the same fear-driven strategy across the vast, diverse cosmos. By exploring this diverse range of non-hostile explanations, we effectively dismantle the one-track mind of hostile aliens. It encourages a more nuanced, scientifically informed, and intellectually stimulating view of extraterrestrial intelligence, shifting the narrative from fear and wild speculation to pure curiosity and intellectual exploration. So, if logic and the Fermi Paradox are waving goodbye to the invasion scenario, why are we so utterly convinced it's coming? The answer, my friends, often lies much closer to home, in our own wonderfully quirky human biases. Pop culture, from those classic sci-fi flicks to modern blockbusters, and even some of those documentaries about alleged UFO crashes like Roswell or ancient alien theories, constantly bombard us with images of hostile aliens. This relentless exposure fuels something called confirmation bias. Basically, we humans love to seek out, interpret, and remember information that confirms what we already believe. In this case, that aliens are bad news. It's a powerful, self-reinforcing loop. Pop culture creates scary stories, which then feed our confirmation bias, making us crave more scary alien stories, which then inspires more scary pop culture. This cycle makes the misconception incredibly stubborn, even when faced with cold, hard logic. In fiction, especially in shows like Star Trek, the good guys who turn out to be hiding something plot is a common, if incredibly old, trope. This narrative trains us to expect deception and hostility from any powerful, unknown entity, whether on screen or out in the great cosmic unknown. And let's be honest, human history offers a rather sobering parallel. As one observer points out, how many civilizations have exchanged hostilities on first contact? It's quite a few. Historically, when a technologically superior civilization met a less advanced one on Earth, think Europeans and Native Americans, the outcome was often devastating for the less advanced group, who were oftentimes wiped out, despite initial friendliness. This deeply ingrained historical trauma and the lessons from Earth profoundly shape our fear of being the less advanced party in a cosmic encounter. Colonization on Earth wrought suffering, environmental degradation, and systemic injustice. Repeating these patterns in space would not only betray humanist values, but imperil the very future space colonization aims to secure. This historical baggage acts as a powerful, often subconscious, lens through which humanity views potential alien contact. The fear of alien invasion is less about what aliens might do, and more about humanity's own historical guilt and anxieties about power dynamics. What's more, we humans have a tendency to project our own flaws, motivations, and limitations onto hypothetical alien civilizations. Dr. Steve Desch calls this a completely fear-driven approach from a human perspective with no basis in reality. We just assume aliens would share our primitive urges for conquest, greed, or tribalism, even if they're vastly more evolved. One observation notes that our egocentrism has grabbed hold of our instinct to flee and hide as prey and run amok in popular culture, leading us to imagine aliens as just bigger, meaner versions of ourselves. We ask, are they wanting our 21% oxygen, or are they monitoring our threats for and against humankind? As if their needs and worries are just like ours. This fear is primarily a projection of our own anxieties and historical experiences, rather than a logical conclusion about how a truly advanced alien civilization would behave. So, if invasion is totally out, what could alien contact actually look like? Let's ditch the Hollywood script and imagine scenarios that are less boom and more woe. If aliens have mastered interstellar travel, their main gig would most likely be scientific curiosity and exploration, not conquest. They'd be super interested in unique stuff like Earth's crazy biodiversity, our complex ecosystems, and the utterly fascinating phenomenon of human consciousness and culture. They might even be here, living with us, and learning about us without us even knowing it. Kind of like the Lanthanites in Star Trek, or the subtle presence in Men in Black. Even if we do have a direct chat, understanding their thought process and discerning their intent would be incredibly difficult, maybe even impossible. As brilliantly shown in Denis Villeneuve's film Arrival, this just highlights the profound complexity of interspecies communication beyond simple good versus evil. Their biology, psychology, and even their concept of time or reality could be too incomprehensible for our human brains to grasp. And here's a cool thought. If a civilization is truly advanced and wise, they'd probably follow ethical rules similar to our own planetary protection protocols established by international space agencies. This means avoiding contamination and interference with alien habitats and potential life, just to keep things natural for scientific study. Think of it like Star Trek's Prime Directive. Advanced civilizations might have strict ethical guidelines against messing with less developed ones. This would be to let us evolve culturally and biologically on our own, preventing them from wrecking or ending a civilization. Their advanced state might mean they prioritize responsible resource utilization and sustainability, and embrace concepts like planetary justice. This would ensure that any cosmic expansion or interaction isn't about exploitation, environmental damage, or hoarding resources, but rather about fostering global collaboration and ethical innovation. This suggests that true advancement isn't just about cool tech, but about evolving morally too. If we, a relatively young, often squabbling, and still developing species are already thinking about such high ethical standards in space, then it's super plausible that a civilization vastly older and more technologically advanced would have developed even more sophisticated, compassionate, and universal ethical codes. Our own baby steps in space ethics serve as a mirror, hinting that true advancement might mean ditching primitive aggression and embracing a higher moral standard. So, there you have it, fellow stargazers. The pervasive Hollywood narrative of hostile alien invasion is a total misconception, deeply rooted in human fear and perpetuated by pop culture, not by cold, hard scientific logic. From a practical and energetic standpoint, interstellar invasion for resources or conquest is just plain illogical, inefficient, and utterly unnecessary for truly advanced civilizations. The Fermi Paradox offers a buffet of scientifically plausible, non-hostile explanations for the cosmic silence, suggesting a universe far more nuanced and interesting than simple conflict. Our own human biases, historical blunders, and egocentric projections often color our perception of aliens, leading us to fear what might actually be benign or even just indifferent. More realistic scenarios for alien presence or contact involve scientific curiosity, subtle observation, and a commitment to highly evolved ethical considerations, light years away from the primitive motivations of conquest. The universe isn't just a dark forest of threats. It's a vast, wondrous cosmos brimming with possibilities, where intelligence might evolve in ways humanity can barely imagine. Ways that are far more interesting and infinitely less terrifying than any Hollywood blockbuster. The Great Silence may be a bit unsettling, but it's also one of the greatest mysteries of our time, practically begging for continued exploration. By shifting our perspective from fear to curiosity, and from our human-centric projections to open-minded scientific inquiry, we can truly embrace the cosmic unknown with wonder, not trepidation. What do you think? Are aliens out there? And if so, what would first contact truly be like? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey beyond the sci-fi myths, hit that like button, subscribe to Cosmic Enigma for more cosmic insights, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the mysteries of the universe.